Do you find it difficult to read and process tens or hundreds of pages of information? You're probably a lawyer, a banker, doctor, perhaps you're a university or PhD student, and you've got a lot of information to get through in a very short amount of time. If you are, this video is definitely for you. I'm going to give you my revolutionary reading strategies that are going to help you read faster and retain and comprehend more information, making you a superior reader. I'm Steve from British Community. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. We're doing our best to help as many people as possible. So please hit the button, subscribe, and I really hope that this video brings you a lot of value. So let's get started. So if you are a professional, such as a lawyer, banker, doctor, etc., you probably have hundreds of pages to process, to read, comprehend, and then respond to, probably in a short amount of time. Clients, customers, patients, they're all counting on your advice based on the input that you've received. So you may be, like myself, a very slow reader. I was a slow reader, even in my native language. For me, it was a challenge to read a book a month. Now I'm trying to read a book a week. And I'm able to achieve that by applying these very tips that I'm going to share with you today. Not only is speed a problem, people also struggle with vocabulary, for example. Often at work you'll need to read very specialized or large amounts of technical language, which can be really difficult to actually assimilate, interpret, and respond to. This leads to a general lack of comprehension and ultimately results in you having to reread, wasting more time and not actually making any progress. Let me share with you these revolutionary strategies. There are 3 or 4 of them, and the majority of which you can apply instantly. That means you can make an immediate positive impact on your reading skills. That means getting results now. So the first element is speed. So you've probably heard about skimming and scanning techniques. Now, that's not what I want to tell you about. So what I'm about to share with you is probably going to surprise you because it's incredibly simple. Use a marker or use a pacer, whatever you want to call it. You can use a bookmark, a pen, anything that you want that helps you trace the words as you read the page. This seems almost too simple. When I learned this, I couldn't believe it. I highly doubted it. Since I started using it, I've never stopped. It's absolutely incredible. I urge you to literally do this right now. Take a pen, if that's the closest thing you have to you, open up your book and start tracing the words as you read. And what you'll find is your eyes will be moving at the speed of the pen instead of the speeds of the words. So you're going to be reading a lot faster. In fact, what will happen is your eyes probably won't even read all of the words on each line. Usually it's about 10 words a line, give or take. You know, my eyes will read probably 7 to 8 words. You don't need all of the words to understand each phrase. So you're already saving masses of time. Now, that's something that you can apply immediately. If you want some long-term kind of training, I've got a really unorthodox recommendation for you. So I call this reverse reading. So the theory behind this is, if you imagine boxers that are training in a gym, they shadow box using weights. Why do they do this? Well, as soon as they put the weights down, their arms feel incredibly light and they can move a lot quicker. This is the same principle here, but for reading, for our brain. So what you should do, every time you pick up a book, and I recommend this for when you're reading for pleasure, so when you have some time, when you're relaxed, before you start reading, the first paragraph, just read it backwards. Read it backwards in your mind, and you'll find out at the beginning it's going to be really difficult. Your brain will be trying to process, trying to interpret the words in a logical sense. And of course, it's going to be the complete opposite of logical. It's going to be a struggle, but do it. Do it a few times and then just read normally and compare the difference. See how fast you instantly start to read, having read backwards initially. And just do that every time you read for pleasure. And as you do that, you should increase your ability to read faster. So I'll be fascinated to get your feedback on that and see if that works for you. Remember, that technique is to be done over a longer period of time, but let me know what you think. Now, point number 2, now we want to improve our focus. Now, an excellent strategy for this is to use music. You're probably thinking, I used to use music when I was studying at university, or I always see other students or people got their earphones in, etc., etc. Now, again, I was against this. I never used music while studying. I found it a distraction. That can actually be the very strength that helps you. So what you should do, find some calming relaxation music and play it on a very, very low volume. So there are 2 reasons for this. One is called SUBVOCALISATION. That is the inner voice that we have in our head that you can hear when you're reading. That voice is actually slowing us down, and we don't really need it. What we can do is kind of tone down the volume on that, and we do that by having sounds in the background. And the music is so soft and uninterfering that you don't even notice it. And this allows you to concentrate a lot more on the content of what you're actually reading. I really urge you to try this one as well. Again, this is something that I didn't believe in until I started doing it. At the beginning, it may take a little bit of getting used to, but I assure you that this will truly help you in the long term. Okay, number 3, this is more focused on comprehension. Now, a lot of people, they lose a lot of time and concentration because they want to understand every single word that is written. Now, obviously, it really depends on what you're reading for, what your purpose is. It really depends on how detailed you truly need to be. Is it essential that you understand every single word? It might not be. When we're preparing students for exams, it often isn't crucial for them to understand every single word. A lot of people do that. They stop, they go and research, find the definitions, and they come back to it. By that time, they've forgotten about what they were actually reading. What I advise is for you to read continuously, consistently. Read until the end of the page and see if you've understood the context. See if you've understood the content and what you really need to know. In fact, that leads me to the second point. At the end of every page or chapter that you're reading, reflect on what you've read. Think back, what have I understood? What are the key points? And can you summarize each page in 2 to 3 words? That's something that you should stop and do. You might find that boring, you might find it annoying, but it may be necessary at the beginning to just apply this technique to help you get into the mode, get into the rhythm of actually reflecting on the information that you're reading. This will really help you enhance your comprehension. And if you are reading very technical or specialized language, you may just need to do this in paragraphs. Okay, so those are my revolutionary reading strategies. I can't tell you how much this has impacted me so far. At the beginning of the year, I had a goal of reading 12 books in a year. I'm already on book number 6, considering that I work and teach more than full time. It's quite remarkable. I'm extremely proud of that. And I'm aiming to read a lot more by the end of the year. So I really hope this helps. So when you tried any of these techniques, please give me your feedback. Write to us in the comments. If you found these suggestions useful, please subscribe and stay updated for the next videos that are coming out. I look forward to seeing you next time.